What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again, once again, and is it trite if I comment on how absolutely blown away I am again by all the support you guys showed in the Greatest Flexes in Destiny Part 2 video? Because holy shit, mind blown. To put this into perspective, in 3 days, you wonderful people hit 8,000 likes. Catching up to Greatest Flexes Episode 1, which had been out a week and had double the views. Oh, and you obliterated the original like goal of 2,500 and 3,000 within hours, completely flexing on me. So here we are with the Greatest Flexes in Destiny Part 3, and I've already written up the Greatest Flexes in Halo, the reward for 3,000 likes, and in all likelihood we'll end up recording it right after this one. And since you wonderful people managed to annihilate the like goal of the last video to the sum of 8k in 3 days, let's see if you can get 10k in a week. Hit that like goal and the Greatest Flexes in Destiny Part 4 will be out within the week. That one, in fact, might actually be the Iron Lord one, wink wink nudge nudge. But without further ado, first flex! So Destiny is ultimately a game about the little insert something here that could. We start off a freshly minted blueberry in Destiny 1 and within 5 hours, we kill a god. And then we just keep killing god after god after god. It's like our existence was created to be one enormous flex on the cosmology of Destiny. It's almost like that was the point of the game. But this the little something that could mentality can really be attributed to anything in the game, which brings us to the little dreg that could slay thousands of years of hive pussy. You heard me right. The little dreg that could slay thousands of years of hive pussy.
You crazy son of a bitch, you dead.
And demonetized. Now, I understand that might need a little bit, a teeny-weeny tiny little bit of explanation. So, according to lore, a dreg fell, left to die. A forgotten pirate set on a path towards salvation. His crew had raided the moon looking for ether. They found only death, and then he was alone. Hyrax the Small, Hyrax the Timid, the Weak, was lost to the depths of the Hellmouth. A solitary scavenger, down amongst the hollows where dead things dwell. How he survived is a story untold, an impossible tale known only to Hyrax himself. In that secret is his strength. For poor, weak, pathetic Hyrax came out of that hell as something other. Still fallen, still alone, but changed by all he'd seen and learned. His mind opened, set adrift through the wonders of all the nightmares he had never imagined. Some say he spent his time hidden in the shadows of that cruel land, scouring the mysteries of the world's grave. Others suggest that he peered into a hateful shrine and found truth in the unutterable horrors whispered from the abyss. Truth is, only Hyrax knows. Truth as simple as it is puzzling. Yes, he did scour the grave, hear the whispers. Only then could all that followed transpire. For a lowly dreg to rise from their docking to stand as a baron is rare enough, but that a fallen of any stature could crack the layers of understanding that barricade the known universe from the ascended plane is more improbable. It was impossible, until it wasn't. For Hyrax succeeded where so few have. He crafted his own throne world and began a monstrous quest to expand his knowledge, etching its hardest truths upon his enemies. And his work has progressed unchecked. It is his name the children do not speak when sharing tales of the haunting of Nemesis. It is his blood that paladins and corsairs alike wish to spill for the slaughter at Gespara. Hyrax the Twisted, Hyrax the Ascended, the Mindbender, whose tongue is a weapon, whose experiments seek to unravel sanity and reshape imagination, that his subjects may become other tools of his vile bidding. And so the warning spreads. When the fallen who speaks in the language of the damned calls, do your best not to listen. For once his words taken hold, your will shall fade, replaced by its antithesis. And then, like that poor, weak, fallen dreg, you too shall know darkness. You too will be alone. Now, all of that is pretty badass in and of itself. Hyrax literally has a tale, a horror story written about him, told to small children to frighten them. He is like the hive, fallen, boogeyman. And let's not understate how much of a flex just this backstory is in and of itself. A little dreg falls into the hive underworld and basically comes back as something akin to an ascended hive, if not an outright hive god or king. And I'm just saying, out of the handful of super badass hive that we've killed in Destiny 2, Hyrax is the only one who's had a throne world that we've had to venture in to put them down permanently. But you might be wondering, how do we go from Hyrax digging himself out of a hole to slaying hive pussy?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
When Forsaken was released, it released with a PlayStation exclusive strike, Broodhold. The strike boss of Broodhold is a hive wizard named Inanahananana. Fun piece of trivia. According to the wiki page for Inanahananana, her name resembles that of Anana, also known as Ishtar, a Mesopotamian goddess of fertility. In one legend, Ishtar describes her descent into the underworld to face Ishagakargagargargal, I cannot pronounce these names, her sister and evil counterpart. In the fight with the Brood Queen, it seems to allude to this mythology because you have to fight the Brood Queen and her shade. That's not the only interesting thing about the Brood Queen. She is the consort to none other than our boy, Hyrax, the Mindbender. Consort, for those of you who don't know, means wife, husband, or companion, in particular, the spouse of a reigning monarch. So Hyrax decided not only is he going to flex on life and death by not dying when he fell into the Hellmouth, not only did he decide that he was going to flex on the entirety of the hive by stealing all of their knowledge and becoming an ascendant, fallen hive, crossbreed thing, but then Hyrax flexes on the hive even more by taking their women and taking the Brood Queen as his wife and consort. The question here, however, is who is more impressive? Lord Shaxx for clapping Marazov, the Queen of the Awoken's Twilight Gap, or Hyrax for getting down and dirty with a Brood Queen and awakening the hive. Because, as we all know, hive wizards, definitely screamers. Next flex! So that one went on a little longer than anticipated when I wrote it, but hey, there was a lot of lore that needed to be covered to get from point A to point B. This one, however, is going to be a little shorter. So in the most recent lore to come with Season of the Dawn, we have a series of cards called the Pigeon and the Phoenix. In this series of cards, we have an entry called Moths to Flame Part 2. So, one night during the Dark Age of Humanity, Osiris is just chilling like a villain. He's had a long day doing Osirian things, and now he just wants to relax next to a campfire. Toast some marshmallows, sing Kumbaya with Sagira, you know, that sort of thing. But no, Osiris is not allowed to have nice things. A warlord, his ghost, and their posse all stroll up. For you see, Osiris is in this particular warlord's territory. Even worse, Osiris dared to transgress. He stole some wood and dared to use it to make his campfire, to toast his marshmallows, to sing Kumbaya around. And now, the warlord demands justice for this affront. Either Osiris's arm or his life. Yeah, that goes about as well as could be expected.
Hey guys, how's your health plan? Apparently it's great!
Now, Osiris dropping a warlord isn't anything special. It's what happens next. Osiris reaches out and snatches the warlord's ghost out of the air. This is where I'm actually going to read the card because this is kind of cool. Obviously, it's on a flex list. Osiris cuts the warlord down into a sizzling heap and snatches his stunned ghost from the air. His gaze shifts to the people to catch sight of their backs as the lot retreat into the woods. His attention snaps to the ghost. Why this man? Osiris douses his flame. Get off me. Sagira compiles herself back into existence. You, sister, help. Okay, hey, he's not going to hurt you. Talk to me, pretend like he's not here. Sagira aligns herself directly in front of the ghost. Their irises lock and twitch erratically in sequence. Oh, let him go. Osiris releases. The ghost dissipates. Sagira, he needed someone strong. A fighter. Nothing more? Sagira pauses. The Traveler was wounded when it created us. That pain echoes. Some of us make choices we shouldn't. Some of us are scared. The process isn't streamlined. Flaws. Osiris shrinks against the forest aphotic density. If there are flaws in the light, then it can be corrupted. It's not indomitable, and so in time would be challenged. We're pieces of a whole, but distinct, unique. You're not Mr. Perfect yourself. He would need to learn patience. Where will he go? To reunite with the Traveler? To find someone new? Someone better? So, not only did Osiris utterly humiliate this warlord, but then him and Sagira flexed even harder by scolding and shaming his ghost to the point that it literally left its chosen dead and just left. Next flex! If you watched my last video, then you'll know we had a flex called the Aphrodite. This is the popular story told throughout the city where Lady Aphrodite literally picks up Lord Saladin and throws him like a javelin into a ton of fallen. And while Lady Aphrodite has certainly earned the nickname Lady Yeet, I don't think this is the best yeet in Destiny lore. No, I think that title belongs to the time that Crota was literally yeeted through time. So, a little backstory, because we all love backstory. In the Book of Sorrow, verse 4:8, the partition of death, Crota is tricked by Savathûn to cut into a space in reality aboard the Dreadnought while Oryx is away, and this hole in reality allows the Vex to pour in to Oryx's throne world. Shit gets out of control really quick. In fact, the worm god calls out to Oryx and basically tells him to get your fucking shit in order. Oryx, not happy about this, goes back to this hole in reality and wages war with the Vex. The Vex, of course, are no match for Oryx and are eventually pushed back or outright taken. And then finally, in verse 4:10, an emperor for all outcomes, we get the yeet of the century. Oryx rushed home and read from the Tablets of Ruin. He put some of the Vex in wounds to be taken by the powers of the deep. Thus, he turned the Vex against each other. Korra manifested a range of tactics, but none of them were adaptive. Oryx crushed all the Vex in his throne. Oryx thought that he should study geometry like the Vex. It was the map of perfect shapes, but first, he had to punish imperfection. "My son," he said, "this is your punishment. Come home glorious or die forgotten." He picked up Crota by the leg and threw him into the Vex Gate network. Or, in other words, come back with your shield or on it. I mean, just the visual of Oryx grabbing Crota by the leg and yeeting him into the Vex Gate network is just so fucking hilarious. Next flex! So, this is a weird flex, but okay. In the game, there is a legendary scout rifle that can be gotten from the Last Wish raid called Transfiguration. Like with most of the Last Wish raid weapons, it details part of the Great Hunt, which was when the consensus decided that the deals with the Ahamkara were more trouble than they were worth, and decided that the Ahamkara should be made extinct. The scout rifle Transfiguration details Lord Saladin not only fighting an Ahamkara, but making a wish. And what was that wish, you might ask? Well, Lord Saladin was like, okay, yeah, you know, Ahamkaras are cool, but like, a dragon? Like a real fire-breathing Arthurian medieval dragon? Yeah, that's what he wished for. He wanted to fight a dragon, and so the Ahamkara was like, okay, I'll become a dragon. Next flex! So this was a flex I originally wasn't sure I should include or not, because not only is it a 2-for-1, but it's the lore flexing on us and Bungie flexing on us. So, with the release of Shadowkeep and the artifacts, it became possible for somebody grinding out to reach 999 light. You might be thinking, but Joker, why is this important? Well, in the lore book Truth to Power, entry Act, Choose, React, we're told that if we achieve light level 999 and defeat Dul Inkaru in a one-person fire team, we will unlock the true ending of the Dreaming City. And with Shadowkeep's release, we could finally reach light levels higher than 999. So the race was on. And from my understanding, the first person to reach 999 was a player named Bagel4K, who, with the help of Twitch streamer Glad, in a one-person fire team, took on Dul Inkaru in personal combat. And then, nothing happened. I guess the real reward of the friend game, not the end game, was the friends we made along the way. I mean, the Destiny community did come together on this. Hundreds of people were racing each other to see who would get to 999 light first, and tens of thousands of people watched Bagel4K's stream and cheered him on. All to basically get the Destiny equivalent of when Al Capone's vault was opened, with Savathûn basically laughing her ass off, saying, "Gotcha, bitches." And Bungie sort of flexes on all of us for the same reason. They knew that this power level was an inevitability, and they had Nothing planned. Either because they didn't have a plan or that was the point. So, massive flex on the entire Destiny community, both by Savathûn and by Bungie. Like I said, this is the Destiny equivalent of opening Al Capone's vault. Live on TV, in front of hundreds of millions of people watching with anticipation, only for there to be nothing there. I don't know about you wonderful ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, but after the initial, oh my god, there was nothing planned, the kind of troll value of Savathûn doing this was fucking hilarious. Because that's totally in line with Savathûn's character. But that's gonna be it for this flex video. Let me know some of your favorite flexes in Destiny lore in the comments below, and maybe you'll see them in a future video. Also remember to hit the like button. If this video hits 10k likes, Greatest Flexes in Destiny 4 Iron Lord Edition will be out within the next week. If you wonderful people somehow manage not to decimate that like goal like you have every other like goal, then the Iron Lord Edition of Greatest Flexes in Destiny will be out whenever I feel like it. So subscribe for that. Support me on Patreon if you're feeling super generous. But above all else, stay frosty.